So I welcome all of you to worship. I am glad you're here. And our story is so familiar to a good handful of you, I'm sure. Crowd of 5,000 are fed on 5 loaves and 2 fish. A couple of things that strike me from the story is, first of all, Jesus is sad and tired. And he has gone to be by himself. And yet when he arrived, he found people in need, and he gave to them. He ministered to them. He loved them. I know for 100% fact that there is a time and a place in your life when you are tired and you want to be alone, and someone shows up that needs to be ministered to. Jesus sets a great example to serve. No matter what condition we're in. No matter where our heart is or what's going on. Jesus, by his compassion and mercy, demonstrates a great way for us to love others. But that's not the part about the story that amazes me. And it doesn't amaze me that when we think we have nothing, if we place it in the hands of Christ, it is multiplied. And it becomes miraculously powerful for others. Because I also think that many of us show up at church on Sunday. We think we have very little to give or to offer, maybe to our family, to our work, or to others in need. And Jesus reminds us, if you just place what you have in my hands, I will help you. I will multiply that, and it will be enough. What really fascinates me about this story, though, this morning is the crowd. This crowd has journeyed a long ways to see Jesus. He has sailed away on a boat, and they have figured out a way to get to him. And in my mind, I wonder what was in their head that compelled them to walk to the location where Jesus was going. What was in their heart? What was their need? What was their expectation? Jesus has a reputation by this time as being a healer, a teacher, a rabbi. He has a positive and powerful reputation. The word is out about this guy, Jesus. And so I think some probably went to be taught. Some probably went to be healed. Some probably just wanted to be around this guy, Jesus, to see what might happen next. But I think they all came expecting something powerful and good, and it was worth walking, and it was worth getting to. In our culture, we just don't do this. We just don't show up someplace not knowing what to expect. Our time, our money, our energy is too precious to simply go someplace without necessarily knowing what's going to happen or what we'll get. And yet I think that's exactly what the crowd did. Something within them compelled them to go to this man Jesus, to be in his presence, not knowing what may happen. Does that same compelling drive exist within the world today? that compels you to come. And whatever it is, can you talk about it to share with someone else? Because they need to be here too. Last week, I went to Columbus, Ohio, and I left Sunday shortly after I could get organized. And on my way to Columbus for my first week of classes for my doctorate program, I drove through horrendous storms. I drove through the thunderstorms and tons of water to get there. And you know what? In truth, I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't. I kind of got an idea now how the program works. I know what my responsibilities are. I know how classes will function. I know twice a year now I will show up for an intensive class, and I know I'll have 4 weeks afterwards to get it done, to send in my paper. But what happened there, I didn't expect. But I was compelled to be there. I went to the place that formed me as a pastor. I went to a place that I lived for 3 years with my family as they picked up their lives, uprooted and followed. I went to a place where I got to worship every day when I was there. I still don't know everything that happened to me there, but I can tell you this. Holy cow, was it needed. It has brought life and spirit that I have not tasted or experienced in a long time, and I don't understand it all. But I knew I had to go. That's where I had to be. Does that ever happen to you, coming to this place? Do you ever leave thinking, holy cow, I needed that? We can't always explain it why we go, but when we arrive, God's there. God shows up. It's powerful. That's just not the normal way we live in our culture. We just don't go someplace unless we know what we're going to get. And I contend that no matter what happens on any given day of worship, God is here. The presence of Christ is here. And you may not fully know or understand what it is you need or what's going to happen, but you will be fed. These people that went to see Jesus, this great number, I have no doubt they were getting hungry, but they stayed. I have no doubt they had bathroom issues and all other kinds of problems, but they stayed. And because they stayed and they were there, they were fed. We are trying to share that message with the world. When you come to this place, God is there and God will feed you. Not just for you, though, for you to take strength out there to the world so that they too may experience this miraculous power that exists within the church. We're going to do that tonight at Vacation Bible School and for the next few days. We're going to do that Thursday at Stonecrest where we worship. We're actually going to do it tomorrow night at a playoff softball game as we represent the church. We carry the message and the power of this place so that we can convince the culture to come and show up. One of my favorite parts, was ironic, driving home. I drove through a horrendous storm on the way home, even worse than the one on the way there. Drove right through the waters. And in my mind, what I was thinking is, boy, that is just the way I know how God works. Through water. Through this water. Baptism. We drive through the water. We come through the water to this place. And what happens in our lifetime is amazing. God is present. We go through storms, and God is present. We arrive, and God is present. But probably one of the more entertaining aspects of the week, a very good friend of mine, Derek, was there. He, too, was a seminary grad at Trinity. And I shared 1 year with him. Our families mixed and mingled. And we went out to dinner. And when it came around to him to order, he says to the waitress, something. And the waitress is getting upset. What do you mean, bring me that? No. Not answering any questions. You pick. Just bring me something. I thought, wow, that was bold. So it came around to me. And I said, I'll have what he's having. Only different. And so now she has to pick 2 meals for us. And you know, I didn't know what I was going to get. But what I did know is I wasn't paying. I knew someone else was taking me there. And I thought, that's kind of like church. I don't know what I'm going to get. You don't know what you're always going to get. But you show up to the meal. You're not paying either, by the way. All of this stuff I'm giving, the main thing I'm giving you is God's love and grace and a reminder that you are loved and you are cared for. You don't pay for that. You're on someone else's tab. Will you please be brave and say, I'll take what I need. I'll have what they're having. Look around you, my gosh. We are filled with saints and powerful, loving people who come and bring God's grace from here to the world. Look at them around you and just tell God, I'll have what they're having, please. Let me have that. You don't have to pay a dime. We're on God's tab. Trust that you'll get what you'll need. And would you please share with someone else what we're serving here? Our culture needs to know what we're serving here. Because what we're serving here is needed in the world. When we leave and we know we're entering the mission field. The people who need to know that you can come here and be fed on God's grace. And when you come and go, you also come and go through the water. When you come and go, you are reminded you are fed with the bread of life. We have a great message to share, brothers and sisters. We just need to go and invite people to the table. Because after all are welcome. All means all. And we can tell them, no matter what you do, just trust that you'll get what you need. Amen.